Lighting is everything.
That's what she does.
Okay, you ready?
Oh, I've already started. Action.
Oh, you did? Okay, so.
We've been rolling.
Hey, y'all. Hey, everybody. Of course, you know, we're in D.C. for 3 days, and I was blessed enough to have the opportunity to talk with Representative Magaziner from Rhode Island. Say hi to the people.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
So, we're going to ask definitely the questions that you've been asking me about student loans, Pell Grants, education, and a whole host of things. So, how are you?
I'm good.
So nice to meet you.
And it's so great always to be around an educator, a teacher. It takes a special kind of talented person to be an educator, so thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
In addition to this other job you have that you're also rocking, so congratulations.
Absolutely. And he used to be a teacher.
That's right.
What grade?
Fourth grade.
Fourth grade, GMs.
That's right.
Hey, that's it. Teach for America,
Yeah.
which is a great organization for all my future teachers out there. Teach for America. So let's start with Pell Grants.
Yeah.
Pell Grants, which grants, by the way, remember grants are free money. SEOG grants, Pell Grants might be on the top of the Department of Education.
So this would be a disaster, right? So Pell Grants are used by millions of young people to access higher education. And, you know, if there's a young person out there who has the desire and that work ethic and the grades to go to college, they shouldn't be locked out just because their family doesn't have a lot of money.
Exactly.
And first of all, we have to expand Pell Grants because the size of the grant has not kept up with tuition.
It hasn't.
But we're playing defense right now because I'm concerned that our Republican colleagues are going to try to cut Pell Grants in order to pay for these tax cuts that they're trying to push through that are mostly going to benefit people at the very top.
Right.
And you know, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they don't need to worry about how to afford to put their kids through college, but most Americans do. And so we got to protect the Pell Grant, ideally expand it, but at the very least, not give up the gains they've been making.
I agree, absolutely. And fun fact, Pell Grants were named after
Senator Pell from Rhode Island, Claiborne Pell.
See, that's a cool fact right there. Now, let's switch to the Department of Education in particular. You all know that I've been talking about DOE and the cuts, and in my state, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, we're going to have a cut of up to $170 million. In particular, my city, my district, Springfield, Mass, is going to have a $47 million cut of ESSER funds that were already promised to us. So what say you about that?
So understand why this is happening, right? The reason that this is happening is that Donald Trump, Elon Musk, they are trying to push through a $4.5 trillion of tax cuts that will mostly go to billionaires and big corporations, to people who don't need it. And so in order to pay for those tax cuts, they are looking at cutting healthcare, they're looking at cutting food assistance, and yes, they're looking at cutting education. The priorities are all wrong. We as a society should not be taking money away from children who need it in order to pay for tax cuts for people who don't need it. The good news is that we only need 4 Republicans in the House to find a backbone and do the right thing.
Okay.
Out of 220 of them, we only need 4.
Do you have 4 friends? Do you know 4?
We're working on making friends, and they, you know, they really they need to feel the heat from their constituents. That's why what you're doing is so important. Like everybody who's watching, call your members of Congress, tell them do not cut education in order to pay for these tax cuts. We only need 4 of these Republicans. We're gonna get them. Working together, we can get them.
Exactly. Now, I also want to talk about student loan debt, the debacle. Now, Super Bowl Sunday, we heard a couple months ago that Elon Musk, Doge, they were kind of fudging around and looking around in our private data. So we're concerned about FERPA violations. We're concerned about privacy. I put together a bundle of templates for people to call their Attorney General. By the way, shout out to Massachusetts Attorney General Andrea Joy Campbell.
Yeah.
She sues that man every other day and twice on a week, and I love her. Write your Attorney General, write your senators, write your congressman.
Yep.
If you're from Rhode Island, write to
Yep.
him. Write the Consumer Protection Bureau, and write whoever else that you can. So how can people either protect their information and fight back against student loan debt?
Yeah, absolutely. So support these attorney generals who are holding the administration accountable, and the student loan servicers too. What I'm worried that they're going to do is they're just going to give all the power back to the loan servicers, and the servicers won't be moving people into programs that they're entitled to, income-based repayment, public service loan forgiveness. Public service loan forgiveness is a big one for teachers. And so we got to make sure the administration actually follows the law and does its job. And you know what they say, like if you see something, say something, right? If your student loan servicer is giving you the runaround, if you're not able to get anyone on the phone, call your attorney general, call your union, call your member of Congress so that we can be on your side and help you.
I guess just one final thing. It's kind of crazy times right now. I know my teacher friends and I, we talk about it all the time. People are scared, they're worried, they want to move to another country. They don't know what to do. What would you say to people and Americans that are kind of feeling the heat right now?
Look, Americans, like, we don't give up, right? Like, we rise to a challenge, and this is our time to rise. There were so many generations that came before us that fought for justice and democracy and equality, and they would be so disappointed in us if we gave up in this moment. So we just got to keep the fight alive. And I know you have the experience of being inspired by your students every day.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I love here in Congress is that every day we got school groups coming through, and I'm inspired by them. So we got to feed off of their optimism for the future and feed off of that responsibility that we have to those who came before us to stay in the fight. Stay in the fight.
Absolutely. So that's it. You heard it here first, live from DC. Thank you so much, Representative
Thank you.
Magaziner. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
everything
much.
you do.
All right, guys, stay tuned. Thank you, babe.